I getting these gamer tags right? Yeah, alright, I got Core Skate. Finally. Alright. Alright, invited Veronica.
Okay. All right, folks, we're here with the pre-game with the free for all finals. Abstract Kid, what are your thoughts so far coming into the finals?
Oh, it's gonna be highly, highly competitive. A lot of players coming in today. Definitely on the way high skill end of this game, especially for the players that are still playing it. It'll definitely be a fun one to watch for sure.
Yeah, what do you make of both our top picks splattered, making a tie for second place, but he gets beat out on assists? What do you think of that?
It sucks. It does, but it is the way that Halo works. You do got to try to grind out the last kill, even if you're losing in the tiebreakers. That if you know you're losing in tiebreakers, you kind of have to be aware that as time goes on, to do your best to try to just grind out as many as you can. Sort of like you know you're behind. Even if you tie with that person, you're still gonna lose. So you got to go out there and get whatever you can.
Yeah, I'm with you. Hey, move yourself to observer. Don't forget to do that. I know you set up yours.
Yeah, I will. I'm
Um,
just inviting people still.
yeah, so I agree with you. Splattered made a pretty valiant effort there. He was near the top almost the entire time. It was unfortunate to see him lose out on assists. He was our top pick, but what do you think about Veronica? She played very well and hung right in there and never counted out. You know, she wasn't in a transfer spot uh, for most of that match until when it went into overtime. That's when she was able to secure her transfer spot.
Yeah, she definitely seems to be the dark horse going into this game. I really appreciate how much she can keep going with it and doesn't lose heart halfway through a match, even if she's down. It makes it very interesting to watch, and I really hope that she can pull something out special here and see if she can get how high she can really get on this ladder.
Yeah. So with that said, who do you think is going to be really in the top three? Is this going to be a close knit group all the way 1 through 6, or is it going to be the top three separate themselves out like we've seen in some matches in the past?
I think at minimum we'll have a top two separating themselves out, but I think third place might be able to bridge the gap pretty closely, depending on how well they actually pull off some of these moves here.
Yeah, and I guess
Performance.
I guess right now we're just waiting on Veronica to get in.
Yeah, I'm gonna invite her one more time.
Yeah,
Wait for her to join.
yeah. So what do you think? We've got a Euro Corsica in here playing. How has he managed to overcome the latency that can be found when you have a U.S. Player hosting? You know, even though it's not peer-to-peer hosting, it still pings off of the closest server when a U.S. Based person hosts. So
Right. Yeah, it's definitely going to be difficult for him. He definitely seems to have been struggling in the game prior, but he still managed to come out with second. So if he manages to kind of keep doing what he was doing without, thinking too much about going out and trying to fly and plays a little more passive, he might be able to get these cleans that he needs to kind of get in the lead.
yeah, and I'm reading through the chat here on Twitch. We've got Closer Spore who's saying he's got his money on Furiously. What do you think about that prediction?
That's who I got my money on, but I think Floppy could give him a run for his money as well.
Yeah, I agree. I think Furiously has played well so far. I've taken a look at some of his placings and when I was reading the match reports. But I also think that Suffered
Hmm?
Tooth could be right there with him and give him a challenge.
Yeah, I think you will absolutely give him a challenge here. Okay, so we have everybody in here now. Let me change the map on over
All
to
right, folks, you heard
recruit.
that. Abstract Kid says we've got everybody in here. We're getting ready to start the finals. We've got 12 minutes on the clock. We're going to be playing some Regret Free for All HCS. 12 minutes of untimed slaying going on here. So we'll see who's going to come out on top and get the first picks of captains. What do you think about these six that we have now? Do you think they're captain worthy? Do you think they'll take a captain spot?
I mean, they made it here. They got to be captain worthy to some extent, at least for skill wise. So we'll see how that goes. But let's get this started.
All right, we're going to fire this thing off. Here we go. Brace yourselves. This is going to be quite a battle as we've got the top six going down. Here we go. So what do you think the strategy needs to be for these players going on, starting out? Do they need to go for
Ooh.
power-ups
Good
really
luck,
quick?
everyone.
I think when you're playing with a wide range of skill players like you would in matchmaking or earlier in the tournament, the main goal would be control the power ups. But with this kind of high skill mark, I think the main thing is make sure that you can stay alive with charge in that green gun in your back pocket. Make sure you can take out that OS.
All right, that's
Or do anything you can to get into position really to try to do as much damage as you can, because the last thing you need is someone like that running around the map.
Slayer.
yeah, exactly. Here we go. Here we go. It's about to start. We've got our top 6, and we're gonna start viewing Floppy here. Floppy.
Four people died in that OS.
All right, so Floppy, I'm watching Floppy right now. He's got no kills. He's sharp. We're streaming now on Veronica. Veronica has transfer spot.
She's playing really smart. She's backing off when she knows she doesn't have a fight, waiting for someone to come in and take someone from behind, and then trying to push right back out as soon as she hears the fight re-engage.
What we got now is Veronica. We got Suffertooth. Like I said before the match started, they're in the top 2 right now.
Yeah, they are. Suffertooth and Veronica are rolling this one away for a little bit here. Velocity can't even get past the field. So 4 and 4, they're all tied for 1 right now. Trying to see if they can make something happen. Veronica will get taken down again.
Alright, so I had to fix the game audio there. We realized the game was way louder. You guys in the chat, just let us know if that fixes audio. Alright, still watching Veronica now. Have to fix that.
Go into the game settings and turn it down from there. That might help.
So I'm going into game settings right now. Abstract, can you let us know what's going on here?
Yeah, for sure. So right now we do have Floppy starting to pull away here with a 3-kill lead, while we have Veronica, Tooth, and Florosity all tied with 5. Surftooth's going to get a kill here, bringing him up to 6, closing the gap with Floppy as much as he can, until he gets taken down here by Floppy himself. Ooh, Coruscate fighting in mid, waiting for that OS to pop, is going to get taken down. I don't know exactly who has that OS, if anybody at all. It might have already popped, it might have been burned. I need to see that fight. Coruscate's approaching the back of a Flurry and a Spore Flight here. Spore's going to get taken down. Looks like we have another engagement between Floppy and Flurry here. But Flurry here already has a good amount of health taken off him. He's going to get his shields back. Let's move over here. Surf 2 is going to get taken down here by Spore. Let's move over to Spore, see how he does now. He's going to get his shields back. He's going to try to make a move for top mid. He hears a fight happening, but he's playing it safe. Going over to that top right side. He's going to get a fight with Veronica. He's going to get taken down. Veronica again going to get another kill, trying to close the gap in second place. Closer Spore and Coruscate seem to be scraping the bottom of the barrel here, struggling to get any kills with 4 and 2 respectively. Floppy and Florosity, as before predicted, are kind of taking this one away with 13 and 11 respectively. Surftooth and Veronica see they can fight for third here. They're all fighting for basically invites to be captains. They all basically have that, but right now it's who's gonna place where.
Alright, sorry about that. Was adjusting the volume. Hopefully that's a little bit better. Please let me know in the chat if it's not. We've got 8 minutes on the clock left. We've got Floppy right now leading the group with 14 kills. Still watching Veronica. She goes down. I'm going to switch over to Floppy as he was currently our leader by quite a bit. All right.
Looks like Ferocity closed that gap. Now it's just 14 to 1.
All right. There you see Floppy getting taken down. Floppy still leads by 1. Furiously is close. Let's take a look at Furiously. How do you think he's playing so far?
He's playing great, but Floppy just grabbed the rest, and that's going to be huge for him. He got that uncontested.
Yeah,
Great timing you're gonna see there coming out of him. It's the ability to know exactly when to start sprinting and when to be just on that platform that separates these top players from the rest.
yeah, you're right about that. And I've been watching Veronica and Floriously, and they've both been really good about doing that. All right, still on Floriously here. We check the standings. He's lost his lead to Floppy. How do you feel about that, Abstract?
It's close still. It's absolutely, he just gained it back now. It's tied. I really want to point out that Veronica and Surf 2's Rampage has been going on. They completely closed the gap. And they're only 2 kills out of second place here, 3 kills out of first each. Oh, but now they're going to be fighting each other. Floppy. Oh, Curiosity's going to take out. Oh, he's going to get taken out by Surf 2. That's a reversal. Floppy's going to come in with a clean, though, making Floppy and Curiosity tied at 15, while Surf 2 and Veronica are still struggling to try to get in that second place.
Yeah, and we've got Floppy. This top of the leaderboard just keeps flip and floppy. What a pun there.
Hey.
But yeah, I just saw Floriously go down. Floriously gets killed by Floppy, and that allows Floppy to take the lead.
Yeah, they're going to be pulling away with it again here. Veronica and Surf 2's going on a bit of a dry spell here. Veronica getting a little bit of something out of Surf 2. Going to get taken down again by Ferocity, who's just going to continue adding to that lead.
Yeah, and let's take a look at the standings here. Floppy's still in the lead. Floriously goes down, and he takes out Corsicat with him, so that's a trade-off there. I'm going to flip over to Floppy now, who's our leader. He takes down Suffered Tooth, and he's in a battle. He needs his shields to recharge, and he goes down. So what do you make of the game so far? Now that we're about halfway in, what have you seen? What's surprising you so far?
It's definitely highly competitive. I'm surprised that Floppy and Floriously, are struggling so hard to get away from the middle of Veronica and Surf Tooth here. But then again, I'm also surprised Veronica and Surf Tooth are putting up such a fight where they'll go on these huge sprees of gaining the ground back, but they just can't quite seem to edge out that last 1 or 2 kills they need to get into second place. So the standings seem to be in sections of 2s at the moment as far as flopping back and forth of leaders here, but no one's going to be able to break upwards of the next bracket there.
So do you see this one heading into overtime? We got a tie right now between Floppy and Floriously at 22.
There's absolutely could head into overtime, especially with Floriously kind of taking out Floppy there and shutting him down. This will definitely end. I can see it definitely going in overtime. It seems to be very back and forth, and no one really seems to have taken a spree on any certain. Those 2 at least have not gone on any sort of rampage where they've sort of gained the lead from the other by any significant margin. So it's always been pretty back and forth, and I expect it to be like that for the rest of the game.
Yeah, and that's good there. And checking back on the score, we've got a double kill by Floppy that allows him to take the tie with Floriously. Floriously watching Floppy at Floppy get double team, triple team, and he goes down. And we'll flip over to Floriously as he gets ready to respawn. Checking the leaderboard again. We've still got the tie, although Floppy just takes the lead, killing Suffertooth there. So Floriously needs to get a kill here. He goes down again, so that allows Floppy. He can probably take the lead here. We've got about 4 minutes left to go. It's starting to widen out a little bit as Floppy is starting to try and take a stronghold. Do you think he's going to be able to keep this hold, or is Floriously going to make a valiant comeback here with the final 3.5 minutes?
I think Floriously definitely could have made a huge comeback here. He didn't wait on top of you. He must have mistimed it. He was standing on top, got melted before he could grab it. He didn't burn it though, so no one else is going to be able to get it, but that is going to give him a death and sit him out for about 8 seconds of that spawn time, plus whatever time he spent on top of it. So he edged it back out here. He's only down by 1, but he'll definitely have to, put in a lot of work here to try to keep this consistent back and forth with Floppy.
Yeah, and you see Floriously just taking 2 kills there, one of which was Floppy, so that puts him back in the lead with 3 minutes to go. He's doing some battle there, but he loses against Veronica. So we've got a 29-29 tie again at the top. Veronica hanging around number 3. I wouldn't lose my sight on Veronica. She played the same way in the last round. She hung out in 3rd. They forced overtime, and then she got 2nd. So I wouldn't count her out. What do you think? Okay.
No, by no means would I count her out. I was pointing it out earlier. She was contending really well with trying to close the gap between those top 2 earlier, and she's now only 1 kill behind both the leaders who are tied. And if you actually notice, every time, or almost every time she goes up against Frost, she's the one who take him out. She's been kind of the bane of his existence as far as this match has gone. So she's definitely can contend with them, and if she can just string together a few kills here, she might actually be able to take the lead.
Yeah, and you just saw her there. She had her kill stolen, so that kind of puts her back. She's now 3 behind Floppy, who is our current leader. Now she drops to 4
left.
as Floppy just takes out Corsican. So I'm going to move back and look at Furiously as he's only down by 1. And he is set to respawn in 2 seconds. Now tied as he got the kill there on excuse me, Floppy who got the kill. Overshield is up. Oh! And Suffered goes down as he takes and burns Overshield.
Yeah, that's gonna be usually the trend you should be seeing at this kind of high level game time, and everybody knows you gotta go for that guy, so it's not a problem for you later. Veronica take out Flirty again, that's what I'm pointing out. Yeah, she just does really well against him, but then gets cleaned up by Floppy usually right after.
Yeah, and that actually hurts Furiously because Floppy took the kill and now spreads his lead to 2. We're still looking in on Furiously here as he's down by 3 with 1 minute to go. This is starting to shape up. We're starting to see who's going to pull away. Overtime looks to be a little bit of a stretch here. What do you think?
I think overtime, yeah, with Floppy starting to string together these kills here, it's kind of the risk of getting shut down by by 2 players that he comes across in these 1v1s, making it really hard for him to stay alive and kind of start getting these kills. He finds Floppy though. Let's see if he can actually edge out this kill. If he can get that, alright, he's gonna shut him down for 8 seconds. He has a little bit of time here if he can survive this. Whoever's following him. Ooh, no.
Yeah, that hurts right there with 30 seconds to go and a 4 kill. He's trailing by 4 kills. I don't think he's going to be able to make up this ground. So it looks like the final standings are going to be Floppy and Furiously. It's pretty well spread out at this point. What do you make of the finals as we've seen?
I think this is about what people expected, but I would like to say this is a lot closer than I was expecting for sure. I'm really, really happy to see that Veronica and Surf 2 come out here and really put on a showing against these high-level players. Floppy just showing some disrespect to Fluriously there as he takes him out for the final kill of the game, and that will be it.
And that ends it. So we've got Floppy in first with 41 kills. Furiously in second there at 36 kills, followed by Veronica at number 3, Suffertooth at number 4, and Corsican at 5. Lastly, we got Closer Spore coming in at 6. And what do you make of the finals and the results we've seen?
I think it really helps us see who's ready to be in the league and who's ready to perform at the highest caliber they possibly can. I think Floppy, Furiously, Veronica, and Surftooth are all going to have some pretty competitive teams. Floppy and Furiously and Veronica especially. I think Surftooth could try to put together a really good one. He seems to be a good team player with those really high assists there, but I think whoever can really put together a team and kind of manage them and sort of be the best leader they can be is going to come out on top as far as this league goes.
Yeah, I agree with you. I think it's a little surprising to see Veronica so high up in that 3rd spot. She played really well all throughout the tournament. It was a bit of a surprise for me. So good to see that she did well in this tournament. We've got our first 6 captains invites going out to these 6 here. I think when you're looking at the top 3 teams, just based off of the captains, you're looking at Floppy, Furiously, and Veronica. And then the next tier teams are going to be Suffertooth, Corsican, and Closer Spores. Do you think these captains will choose the captain? I mean, do a little guesswork here on whether or not they're going to be a captain.
From what I can guess from the little chat experience I have with some of these players, I think Furiously will probably end up going and choosing captain. For the rest of them, I'm unsure. I hope to see Veronica and Floppy for sure be captains. I'd love to see them try to put together the best team they can and go up against each other. Those three would be really fun to watch, make a team and have to go up against each other and see the best they can do. Serve Tooth, Core Skate, and Closer Sport. I also like to see those teams. I like to see what Closer Sport can do. Is he's obviously not quite at that elite caliber as these other players are, but he might be able to put together a really, really functional team who can kind of just out pace and out position some other teams who quite aren't so experienced at these 4v4s.
Yeah, that's a strong analysis. And to answer Floppy on Twitch, he just asked, why is it surprising that Veronica is number three? Is it because she's female? It's only surprising to me, Floppy, because she was a late ad. I didn't know much about her. I don't know if she's using a Smurf account. She didn't have very many statistics, even though she, as a platinum player, had a 3 frag rate on that limited stat account. So I was surprised to see her get in here, though I shouldn't have been, looking back at her stats being a 3.2 KD. With that said, Abstract, I'll give you the final word here. What do you think about moving forward?
I'm really excited to see where these teams can go and these leagues can go. And to Floppy, I would also like to kind of chime in here. No, I played with Veronica before, and I know what she can do, and she's a very strong player. And by no means do we think that any females are not good, because I can list off about like I would say probably like a hundred girls that I played with before who would shoot me into the dirt about 1,000 times over. So by no means is gender playing a role into this, and I hope it's not what it comes off as. No, I think it was just because according to the stats and where her highest placement was on the board that we had, if you look back at the placing board from the first round, it does show her, I do believe, as a diamond or platinum, which is, I think she was one of the lowest in her own pools. So to make it all the way to the final pool and put on the show that she did, just from that evidence alone would be a little bit shocking. And it's fun to see that. It is fun to see those dark horses come out. But I digress. Moving on. Really excited for this league. Really excited to see what these captains can do. I really hope that most of them, if not all of them, do accept, and they all come to the draft, and hopefully they get a good feel for the players around the league, so they can draft, who they feel might be best fit for them and fit for the other players in their team, and we'll just see how these guys do. And I'm excited to see them play each other as well.
Yeah, it'll be interesting when we start getting into the regular season. We have best of five going on. Who's going to be better at CTF and who's going to be better at slaying? So, also in our other game types as well. So, with that said, everyone who's tuned in right now, if you're interested in knowing when the draft is going to take place, we're going to get with the captains and make sure that they confirm their invitations to be a captain. And then after we get their confirmation, we'll work with them to set the draft as soon as possible. The board first has to make their budget requirements for each of the teams of the captains who accept the invite. Again, the budget is for the captains to place bids on players for their team. They're going to have a set budget at the draft to bid on their teams. And lastly, Abstract, what do you think about the auction draft and how that works?
I'm really excited. I think it'll add this level of competition to kind of see what captains value what players at certain levels, and like, yeah, this player might be really good slaying, but a captain might decide that his money's best spent either elsewhere on two other players who are both medium skill level as opposed to one high caliber skill level, and also kind of to see like where captains put their value. Are they putting it more of the objective work, the positioning, the raw slaying power, communications? So it'll be really interesting to see kind of who captains feel are the best 4v4 team players based off of their draft numbers and their bid price.
Yeah, so everyone that's listening, what we'll do is we'll have a draft show where you'll see all the captains make their bids on the players and see where you may fall on, in terms of bid price and what team you land on. All right, for the Halo Draft League, he's Abstract Kid. Thanks for the analysis. I am Bruiser, the founder of the league, and we are signing off until our next show. Stay tuned in our Discord. Also, you can catch us on our Twitter or twitch.tv/Halo Draft League. And you can also follow me on Twitter, which is at Seth_Doris. Thank you for tuning in. We're out.